Hey, Hannah, how are you today?
I'm good. I got a lot of sleep, so I'm well rested.
Oh, that's so important. I just was reading this article and they were talking about that if you get like the difference between getting 8 hours versus 6 hours, because a lot of people now are getting more sleep because there's less of a commute time
Mhm.
and they're experiencing all the health benefits. And they were talking about how it can actually impact like your DNA expression in terms of producing protective factors in your blood against cancer when you get enough sleep, which is remarkable. So I'm glad that you're getting a good amount of sleep.
Thank you.
But that's not what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about mindfulness. And Brene Brown just talks about it in a very she takes the mysticism out of it or the whatever out of it and just makes it real practical that it's really just about paying attention in the moment. And the reason that Courageous Hearts is interested in mindfulness is because we do all the stuff, as you know, with social emotional learning. And mindfulness, or just paying attention, is the first crucial step in being able to self-manage emotions. So I would consider it being under the competency of the 5 competencies, which we'll touch in a minute, of self-awareness. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Do you have any questions up until this point? Or are you good?
No, I'm good so far.
Okay, can you see my shared screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So we talk about building resiliency in these different ways, and one is self-care, but the second one really is developing self-awareness or mindfulness or a greater capacity to be in the moment and pay attention. And let's see if I can get this. And as I mentioned, here's the 5 competencies in the middle there that go around the white circle. And these are the competencies that CASEL, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, has put out. And these 5 competencies, we have a whole other video on, but I won't get into it now, but the 2 internal ones are self-awareness and self-management. And mindfulness, or just cultivating an ability to stay focused and pay attention in the moment, is critical for, I would say, every single one of these 5 competencies. Let's talk about that. So if we're going to develop our own awareness, and this is for educators, if you want to develop awareness in your students, you basically want to do any activity that brings students present inwardly, to be present with their thoughts, their feelings, or body sensations. So any activity that you do that will help them to develop their own self-awareness. And I'm going to talk a little bit about mindfulness. And again, Hannah, jump in if you have any questions, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So mindfulness, and you and I have talked about this, mindfulness is just about being here in the moment and being present with what is. You could be mindful of something externally, like, oh gosh, if I listen right now in this moment, I'm hearing the wind outside. I could also be mindful of an internal process. If I check in right now, my breath is a little constricted and I have a little bit of a feeling of sadness about everything that's going on in the world right now. So there's external mindfulness and there's internal. And John Kabat-Zinn talks about it as an awareness that arises through just paying attention in a purposeful way in this present moment. And he also talks about it being non-judgmentally. So I'm not going to be like, oh, I hear the wind outside and oh, that's horrible because that means a cold front is coming in and then there's going to be rain. Mm-hmm. He talks about mindfulness is just noticing and not adding anything to it. There's wind outside. Noticing that. I'm noticing my breath. It's just presence. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it as the practice of being fully present and alive. And he talks about it like in a more holistic way, the body and the mind. So you're present in the moment in your mind, and you're also present to your body. I like that one.
Yeah. Is it hard for people to learn to do both, to be present Because I feel like it's easy one way to like focus just on what's around you or just what's inside, but I feel like both at the same time can be really difficult to master.
Yeah, you mean both body and mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's a practice. Like that's why Thich Nhat Hanh calls it. It's a practice of being fully present. Like nobody is ever living like fully present 24/7, especially when we're sleeping at times. But it's something that like when you build a muscle and you build up your ability to pay attention in the moment through practicing. And it's weird because people think about practicing in a very formal way. Oh, I'm practicing mindfulness. I'm going to sit and I'm going to put my legs in this certain way. My back is going to be straight. My hands are going to be in this. And it's like, just, that's not practical. I like to talk about practical mindfulness, a practice of that. Because most people, let's face it, do you have an hour or every morning to just put into sitting and paying attention to your breath? Like, do you have that much extra time?
Not at all.
No, like we're busy. Like, give me something informal that I can do while I'm doing other stuff. And luckily you can do an informal practice of just paying attention, which you can bring into a classroom as well. So, okay, let's go on to the next one. I won't go into a lot of these in detail, but there's all this research that mindfulness is really, really good for you. Either if it's an informal practice or a formal practice. They've done it in prisons, they've done it in schools, elementary, middle, high schools, they've done it in universities, they've done it in workplaces, and there's nothing bad about it. It always, one, it makes people more productive. It helps people to regulate emotions and anxiety. It's also really great for people that have depression. And especially right now, there's a lot of stress with what's going on with in the world. So there's just good stuff to come out of this. And here's some of the ways that it's been used. It has been used for all different age groups: stress management, pain management, regulating emotions. And this is all directly related to social emotional learning. Help with anxiety, job performance, and the last one, social emotional learning, which is our thing. So as I just mentioned, there's a formal and then there's an informal practice. So with a formal, it's a specific time, and you and I both agreed, okay, sometimes that's not practical. But let's talk about like more practical mindfulness, that you can integrate it into things that you're already doing in your lives. And I think you helped me make this slide. Did you not? Yes. Do you want to go through the informal mindfulness?
Sure. So some examples for informal mindfulness can be just doing chores, can be done while like doing chores, doing the dishes, clean the house, folding laundry, while you brush your teeth, cooking and eating, or even exercising. So you can do it along with your daily chores every day.
Awesome. Thanks for reviewing the slide. Yeah, so these doing an informal mindfulness practice will help develop being present in the moment. And if we can be present with brushing our teeth, for example, then we can be more present with emotions that might arise inside and be able to allow them to come up and go through and move on, because emotions are just energy in motion, and just being with them in a neutral way oftentimes is enough. We talk about that in a different module. So let's just conclude here. Mindfulness, it's a great tool and it has so many applications. The one that I like to talk about is how it applies specifically in the area of supporting students in their own social and emotional wellness and health. And it does fall under the self-awareness competency of SEL. There's a ton of research all showing a positive impact of some kind of mindfulness practice, could be formal or informal. And we do a really awesome awareness activity, which is a great first step that teachers can bring into the classroom, to show students like how to really to start to go inside and check in with themselves. And this is awesome for stress management, emotional regulation. And so not only self-awareness, but the self-management piece of the SEL competencies. So yeah, I want to check in with you. Thank you everyone for listening and paying attention. Hannah, what were your thoughts?
I just think it's a really good tool to try to help people like understand more. And I know when I was younger in school, like this would have helped me a lot figuring out like as I grew up and the stress of like college and high school decisions. This is something I didn't learn till later on in life, till I came to college. So I think it's really important that everyone starts to kind of learn it when they're younger. I think that's really important.
So you're saying the earlier the better, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to have something like this in high school as well. I was pretty clueless about emotions, and it took a while to figure things out. So thanks for being with me on this, and I appreciate your feedback and your thoughts on it.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, take care, my friend.
You too. Bye.
Oh, okay, bye bye.